Your cat heard every word you just said, and they chose not to respond, not because they couldn't, but because they were deciding if you were worth it. Most people live with their cat for years without ever realizing this. They call their cat's name and get nothing back. They say no and watch it happen again the very next day. They whisper the word treat and laugh when their cat materializes out of thin air. But here is what science actually uncovered. Your cat has been quietly learning your language. They have been building a mental map of every word you repeat, cataloging what each one means and deciding exactly how to respond. And one of the words you say almost every single day might be doing far more damage to your bond than you could ever imagine. One word one. They know their own name. Let's start with the word they learned before anything else. Have you ever called your cat's name? Watched them slowly turn their head in your direction, blink once, and then walk away like you never existed? Most people take that personally. They think their cat is being difficult or stubborn or just doesn't care. But here's what's actually happening. In 2019, researcher Atsuko Saito and her team at Sophia University in Japan ran a study that changed everything we thought we knew about cats and language. They tested dozens of cats, exposing them to their own name, to random words, and even to words that sounded nearly identical. And the results were clear. Cats consistently distinguished their own name from everything else. They knew exactly which sound belonged to them. So why don't they always come running when you call? Because cats are not wired the way dogs are. Dogs were bred for centuries to respond to human commands. Cats were never domesticated for obedience. When your cat hears their name, they don't automatically react. They make a choice. They weigh the situation. They ask themselves, based on every past experience, whether responding is actually worth it. If their name usually leads to food, play, or your warm lap, they are probably on their way. But if it usually leads to a carrier, a bath, or a vet visit, don't hold your breath. And that is what makes this so fascinating. Your cat is not ignoring you. They are calculating every single time. Word two. They know what no means. This is the word most owners get completely wrong. And it might be slowly breaking your cat's trust without you even knowing it. Have you noticed how your cat freezes the second you say no? Maybe they're on the counter. Maybe they're about to push that glass off the edge. You say it once, firm and clear, and they stop. So they understood, right? Yes. But not in the way you think. Your cat doesn't process the word no the way a human being does. They don't register it as a rule or a moral boundary. What they respond to is the tone, the volume, the sudden emotional charge behind the sound. That sharp burst of energy creates a negative association in the brain. Over time, your cat learns that when that sound comes, something unpleasant follows. So they stop. Not because they respect the limit, but because they want to avoid the discomfort. And here is where it gets dangerous. If you use no too often, too loudly, or at the wrong moments, your cat doesn't develop discipline. They develop fear. They start associating your presence with stress, and over time that rewires everything. They begin to hide more. They flinch when you move too quickly. They stop coming when you call, not because they forgot the bond you built, but because you accidentally changed what your presence means to them. The owners who get the best results do something different. They use no sparingly. One short, calm, firm word. No yelling, no repeating it 4 more times. And then immediately they redirect. They give the cat something they are allowed to do. That is how you correct behavior without creating fear. That is how you stay trustworthy. Word 3. They know what treat means. This one is almost funny. because you never sat down to teach it. Think about the one word that makes your cat appear out of nowhere, no matter where they are in the house. You could be 3 rooms away, whispering, and somehow they are already sitting at your feet staring at you like they have been waiting all morning for this exact moment. That is not luck. That is science. Cats learn through a process called classical conditioning, the same mechanism a scientist named Ivan Pavlov discovered over 100 years ago when he noticed dogs began to salivate just from hearing a bell. Why? Because the bell had been followed by food consistently every time until the brain formed a direct connection. Sound equals food. No thinking required. It becomes automatic. You did the exact same thing with your cat without even realizing it. You said the word treat right before giving one over and over and over, and your cat's brain built that link faster than you would expect. Because food is the single most powerful motivator in a cat's world. But it goes even deeper than the word itself. Some cats start responding to the crinkle of a specific bag, the click of a cabinet, even the sound of your footsteps walking toward the kitchen at a particular time of day. They have constructed an entire chain of associations around that one moment. The word is just the loudest trigger in a system your cat quietly engineered on their own, which means they have been paying far more attention to you than you ever gave them credit for. Word 4. They know your other cat's name. If you have more than one cat, pay close attention to this one, because it is stranger than you expect. Have you ever called one of your cats by name and noticed the other one react? Maybe they glanced toward the hallway. Maybe they looked at the door their housemate usually comes through. You probably brushed it off as coincidence. It was not. In 2022, a research team led by Saho Takagi at Kyoto University in Japan published a study that genuinely surprised the animal behavior world. They found that cats who live with other cats learn and recognize the names of their housemates, and not just the sound of the name, the actual identity behind it. Here is how they proved it. They played a cat's name out loud while showing either that specific cat or a completely different cat on a screen. When the wrong cat appeared, the cats in the study stared longer. That longer stare is a well-established indicator in animal research. It signals that something does not match what the subject expected. The cat heard the name. They expected a specific face. And when the wrong face appeared, they noticed the mismatch. Let that settle in for a second. Your cat has been quietly building a mental directory of your household. They know who lives there. They know which name belongs to which individual. Nobody sat them down and taught them this. They figured it out by watching you, listening to your patterns, and paying attention to details you did not even know you were broadcasting. So the next time you call one cat and the other one perks up, that is not random. That is your cat demonstrating exactly how closely they have been tracking everything around them. Word 5. They know, come here. This is the one we saved for last, and it might completely change the way you see your cat. Have you ever looked across the room, said quietly, "Come here," and watched your cat actually walk toward you? Most people laugh it off as a coincidence, a fluke, a one-time thing that was never going to happen again. But what if your cat has understood those words for far longer than you realize? Cats are not born knowing what "come here" means. Nobody hardwired that phrase into them, but over time, through hundreds and hundreds of small, quiet moments, they built a connection between those words and what always followed. You said it and then gave them affection. You said it and they ended up somewhere warm. You said it and something good happened. Your cat did not learn this from a command. They learned it from you. from every single experience after those words that made them feel comfortable, secure, and safe enough to return. And that is what makes this the most important word on this entire list. Treat is about food. No is about avoidance. Their name is about identity. But come here is about something deeper than any of that. It is about your relationship. It is the word that holds the entire history of every good moment you have shared with your cat. When your cat hears those words and chooses to walk towards you, they are not obeying a command. They are telling you something. They are telling you that every time you said that, every time they came, something about it was worth repeating. And that the bond you built with them, one small moment at a time, is real. That is not training. That is trust. So the next time your cat hears their name and makes you wait, remember, they heard you. They just made a choice. And the more you understand the words they have quietly been learning from you, the more you can shape those choices together. If this made you see your cat differently, share it with someone who lives with a cat and has absolutely no idea how much their words matter. And if you want to understand more about what is actually going on inside that quiet, calculating mind, stay with us. We are just getting started.